Wow. So we set the all-time attendance record of this building, and people are still pouring in. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. And one young man got here, you won't believe this, at 4:30 in the morning. Where is he? Where is he? Where is that guy? Come here. Come here. Wow. Boy, that was a hard hug. He's a strong guy, I want to tell you that. It's great to be here today in Larimer County and in the beautiful state which we're going to win of Colorado. Beautiful. On November 8th, we are going to win this state, and we're going to win back the White House. And remember, Colorado, mail in your ballots by Election Day. Mail in your ballots by Election Day, or a lot sooner than that if you can. But get those ballots in, because there's only one way this is going to be taken away. That's if we're foolish, or if we let people take it away from us. So mail those ballots in. They should arrive at your homes around October 20th. You know that, right? I hate to interrupt my speech with these minor details, but they're very important, right? So thank you. Get your friends, get your family, get your coworkers, visit our website, and enlist every last person. We can't let this go. We can't have 4 more years of Barack Obama. We can't. And crooked Hillary will be worse. She'll be worse. So get those ballots in. And as long as we're talking about winning, I want to congratulate the Denver Broncos on their undefeated start to the season. And John Elway is a great guy. You know, I heard the coach saying he played golf with me. He's a good golfer, and he's an amazing guy. Coach, I want to thank you wherever you may be in this massive room. Where's the coach? Where is the coach? Coach, thank you, Coach. What a nice introduction that was. And the coach also is a big fan of John Elway, and John Elway is a winner. John Elway is a winner. So congratulations, and good luck again this season. What a team. What a team, what management. They're doing a fantastic job. I also want to recognize the most amazing people of them all, the incredible men and women of the United States military. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. I was just with a lot of the leaders this morning. We made a speech. We start off in Virginia. I'm going all over. It has been wild. But we had amazing people. We're now up to 19 recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor have endorsed us. And we have 200, over 200, as of about 2 days from now, over 200 admirals and generals. And they have been unbelievable. Because they want to see things happen correctly, not the way they've been happening. We can't beat anybody right now. We don't beat ISIS. Can you imagine General George Patton? He's right now spinning in his grave. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine General Douglas MacArthur? We can't beat ISIS. They wouldn't know what you're even talking about. But I'll tell you one thing they wouldn't do. They wouldn't go on television to announce that very soon we're going after Mosul. Did you see that? They announced, we're going after Mosul. Why do you have to talk? You do it. You do it. Boy. Then you have the leaders of ISIS, a lot of in Mosul. They say, you know, we're getting out of here now because they announced, so we'll go through the whole thing. Death and destruction, and it won't be the success it should be. They've got to keep their mouths shut and get it done. And every general will say it. You know, in the old days, I'd read, it used to be called the element of surprise. We don't have the surprise anymore, folks. We don't have. We have people that truly don't know what they're doing running our country. Remember 2 weeks ago, 400 million in cash? Remember that? Cash! But then that turned out to be wrong. It looks like it was 1.7 billion in cash. In cash! That would fill up that piece of the arena. And then last week, 800 people ready for deportation to a rough part of the world. And guess what happened? They became, instead, United States citizens. And that was wrong also, because it turned out not to be 800 people. They think now it's 1,700 people. So I immediately said, okay, so fix it. Oh, undo it. And you know what they said? Well, that wouldn't be constitutional. How stupid are we? The world is laughing. Anyway, Colorado is home to 6 great military bases with unbelievable people stationed at those bases. We're going to eliminate the defense sequester, rebuild our military, and take care of our veterans. Have to do it. We have to take care of our vets, by the way. We have illegal immigrants, in many cases, treated better than our veterans. That's not going to happen for long. Another great Colorado legacy is hunting and fishing. My sons love to hunt. They're here all the time. We're going to conserve your land for future generations, and we are going to save your Second Amendment, which is under siege. Under siege. And as you know, the NRA endorsed me with the earliest endorsement they've ever given, so thank you to the NRA. You gun owners better get out there and vote, I'll tell you. You better get out. You're not going to like it if they get in and all of a sudden rules and regulations are put in. It won't be the same. We have to preserve and protect our Second Amendment. We have to. One other issue of such great importance to Colorado is energy. Hillary Clinton wants to shut down the mines. She also wants to shut down shale energy production, denying you billions of dollars in wealth and, of course, billions and hundreds of millions of jobs in terms of dollars. We can't let that happen. Remember, it was Crooked Hillary who said, by the time we get through all of my conditions, I do not think there will be many places in America where fracking will continue to take place. It's a lot of people. That's a lot of jobs. And when we want to compete with other countries, we better not think that way, because we are losing out big league. She also wants to shut down oil and natural gas production. Her anti-energy policies will take millions of jobs from Colorado, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, and so many other states. We are going to end Hillary Clinton's war on Colorado energy, and we're going to put our miners back to work. Our miners are going back to work. While my opponent focuses on small, petty things, we are discussing the vital issues facing our country and our people. And we have many, many vital issues. We are going to talk borders. We're going to talk trade, jobs, and refugees. We're going to talk about crime and failing schools and how to turn our country around. Hillary can't discuss the issues because she's one of the ones who helped create the problems in the first place. All she can accuse the country of, and you saw that the other day and the other night, is racism and attack Trump voters and Bernie voters. Did you see where she attacked the Bernie voters? Bernie should have never made a deal with the devil. He would have gone down as having done something amazing, and now it was thrown out the window. And she'll do everything she can to distract from the issues and her enormous corruption and criminal conduct, a campaign of distraction funded by Wall Street investors and hedge fund managers. These special interests are counting on Hillary to keep rigging the system as she's done her whole career. All that stands between you and the country you want are Hillary Clinton's special interests. And all you have to do to beat those special interests is mail in those ballots and get out to vote on November 8th. That's all you have to do. Oh, I wish those cameras would... Hey, would you do me a favor, fellas? Span the room. Span the room. Go ahead. Span the room. Span the room. Pretty amazing. Place is packed. New record. Place is packed. They never show our crowds, never. Maybe I'll just wade into the crowd. Maybe that way they never. And in fact, tonight when you go home, because I just looked behind, the smallest section is right behind me, because we have the flag and the flag of Colorado. So all you see is my face and the few people, but they're going to become movie stars, very attractive people. You're not going to see this because they never show it. Because it's bad to show it, because if they show it, they're going to see what's happening. And they don't see that this is going all the way up to the rafters. And we love our flag, but I think I'm going to move it a little bit in this direction next time. Because they're going to show how many rows? Nice crowd. Nice, but you understand what I'm saying? My people don't get it. My people don't. They don't get it, my people. But if they would span the crowd, and this is what we have no matter where we go. It's only dictated by the size of the arena. Right by the side. We went to Pueblo today. We had a tremendous crowd. Right. All dictated by the size of the arena. And I want to thank our fire marshal, who was fantastic. He was fantastic to allow so many people into the building. They have people standing at every door, but I always say, how can you have a fire? It's a concrete floor. But I want to thank the fire marshals. They were fantastic. And I want to thank our police. What a job they do. What a job. What a job. I've made a centerpiece of my economic revitalization plan the largest middle-class tax cut. And this is big stuff. The largest tax cut since Ronald Reagan. And the largest right? The largest regulatory reform in American history. So we have the big tax cut, and for companies, we're bringing it down from 35 to 15%. Our companies are leaving our country. And we're bringing it way down to 12.5% for middle income, to 0 for people that aren't doing so well, but they'll be making the 12.5, and then they'll be paying, hopefully, some pretty good tax someday. But we've brought them all down. The personal taxes, the corporate taxes. We brought the taxes down where trillions of dollars is outside of our country, trillions. And companies can't bring it back because the tax is so high, it doesn't make sense. Plus, bureaucratically, they can't do it. So what they do, you know what they do? They leave the country to get their money. And they leave the country because taxes are too high. Just about the highest in the world are taxes. And you know, with all those taxes, our roads are bad. Everything's bad. It's not like, oh, gee, we have high taxes, but everything is tippy-top, as we say. It's the opposite of tippy-top. You got potholes, you got airports that are horrible, like third world countries. You got bridges that are half falling down. See the safety records on the bridges? So we are going to get things straight now, folks. So we're going to put people back to work, but we're going to put Americans back to work. Americans. Oh, I'd like to move those flags over. Okay. So I've been... I've been saying from the beginning that this campaign and how ridiculous everything is when you look at, yes, the unfair tax system. I've been talking about how crazy the tax system is, how unfair it is, how much tax we pay. This is not the fault, believe it or not, of the IRS, but the political class that is owned outright by the special interests and the lobbyists. They want something done, they want a provision put in, they put it in. It's these politicians who wrote an amend and tax code, really a tax code that really is a disgrace to our country in so many ways. It's a favor to the donors. It's a favor to the special interests. Many so-called experts that get tremendous fees to understand what's going on. They have no idea of the size, the complexity of the code itself. And thousands of pages represent unfairness. The unfairness of the tax laws is unbelievable. It's something that I've been talking about for a long time. You've heard me talking about it, despite being a very big beneficiary, I must admit. I am. I'm a big beneficiary. But you're more important than my being a beneficiary, so we're going to straighten it out and make it fair for everybody. No fair. I understand the tax laws better than almost anyone, which is why I am the one who can fix them. And that is what I commit to you. I will do it. As a business person, I've legally used the tax laws to benefit, really, I mean, it's to my benefit, and to benefit of my company, my investors, my employees, my family. Thank you. As a major real estate developer in this country and throughout the world, I face enormous taxes: city taxes, state taxes, sales taxes, excise taxes, employee taxes, federal taxes, VAT taxes in different countries. It's my job, always, to minimize the overall tax burden to the greatest extent possible, which allows me to reinvest in neighborhood workers, building amazing structures all over the place, and it fuels the tremendous growth in various communities throughout the United States. And by the way, George Soros declared $1.5 billion. He declared $1.5 billion in losses in 6 months. And in 2014, Warren Buffett lost $873 million. I wonder if they deducted that. Do you think? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Why would they ever do a thing like that, right? Think they'd ever do a thing like that? I don't think so. That's just the beginning. I could give you numbers that you wouldn't even believe. Numbers far bigger than that, massive numbers. And we are going to do things to make our tax system fair and make our whole country a more fair place to live. The news media is now obsessed with an alleged filing from the 1990s, a long time ago, at the end of one of the most brutal economic downturns in our country's history. The conditions facing real estate developers in the early 90s were almost as bad as the Great Depression in 1929 and far worse than the Great Recession in 2008, which was nothing compared to the early 90s. What had been a booming economy in the era of Ronald Reagan changed dramatically, and the business landscape changed with it. Bank failures, the collapse of the savings and loan industry, the implosion of the retail market, real estate in general was a disaster. Many business people, including many of my competitors, some of my friends, were not able to survive. Companies, jobs, opportunities were lost, and lives were destroyed as tens of thousands of people were put out of work. That was a rough period, the roughest period I've ever seen. Some people say in many respects it was almost the equivalent of 1929, the disaster. Yet today my company is bigger, stronger, with far greater assets and more premium properties than ever before. My company has never been stronger, it's never been better. It is one great company. And I'm leaving for this. All these years, you build your company. Somebody said, you know, he built this great company, some of the great properties in the world, and now, when he could be enjoying the fruits of his labor, what's he doing? I'm with you in a hot arena, making speeches. I'm with you in an arena that's about 95 degrees because it wasn't supposed to have this many people. It wasn't designed. That's supposed to be a hockey, nice, cool space, right? Or basketball or something. This is amazing. But I love doing it. And I must tell you, and I tell this often, people in this room, in many cases, were making more money 18 years ago with one great job than they're making today with 2 and 3 jobs. And the only thing I can tell you is they're getting older and they're working harder and they're making less. It's not supposed to be that way. But you know what? I'm getting older and I'm working harder right now than I've ever worked in my life. So we're all in the same ballpark. It's all in the same. I was able to use the tax laws of our country and my skills as a business person to dig out of this real estate depression when few others were able to do that. In those most difficult times, when so many had their backs to the wall, I reached within myself and delivered for my company, my employees, my family, and the communities where my properties existed. I did a great job. During the early 90s, as companies were collapsing one after another, the media and powers that be said, Donald Trump could never make it back. You remember? Donald, I don't know if you remember, some of you, that's still a long time ago. That we're bringing this up is a little ridiculous, but let's do it anyway. But they did. They were so happy, just like they're miserable today. They said, how did this happen with Trump? They said, I had billions of dollars in borrowings and hundreds of millions in personal guarantee and no pathway out. And they were largely true, except I always felt I did have a pathway. But I never had any doubts, and I never, ever gave up like the people in this room. We never gave up. That's because I knew in my heart that when the chips were down is when I performed the best. It's when a lot of the people in this room, I know the people in this room. I know who you are. I know your guts. I know the people in this room and the people in plenty of other rooms where we go and break records at every arena we go to. The reason I never felt in danger during the real estate downturn, and I never did, was that I knew myself, I knew my business, I knew the financial system, I knew the tax code inside out and backwards, and most importantly, I knew how to fight. And that's what I am and what you are. We're fighters. And I'm now going to fight for you. We're bringing our country back. In the early 90s, they splashed the front pages with stories about how Donald Trump finally, he's finished. You think they like me? I don't think so. Everybody said that I was done. There were front page articles in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. They were thrilled and delighted to write these negative stories, and they were negative. So they said I was finished. The only person who didn't think that I was in trouble was Donald J. Trump. I didn't think so. And you know what? My mother and father loved me. My brothers, my sisters, my best friends, they thought I was going to do very well. But I will say, we have to have confidence in ourselves. And I had a lot of confidence that this was a bad period. This was really a depression. A lot of the folks in the room, I'm just watching, as they're wincing when I mentioned the dates, because those were bad times for a lot of people, including people here. I started my company with a small loan, and as I grew, I borrowed money in order to grow the company. Borrowed a lot from big banks, big institutions. When the bottom fell out of the real estate market, I had all the debt. It stayed the same, but the value of the assets plummeted. Interesting. But I knew how to use the tax code to rebuild my company when others didn't have a clue. Some of them come to see me today and they say, man, I wish I saw you, Donald, and they're wiped out. My understanding of the tax code gave me a big advantage over those who didn't have a clue, including many of my competitors who lost everything they had, never to be heard from again. Now they're gone, I'm here, and I'm ready to turn things around for our country. And the dishonest media is back there saying, oh, can you believe it? We can't get rid of this guy. This guy is brutal. This guy is brutal. The early 90s was a very tough time for the world, but in tough times, you need very tough and very smart people, which is you. These are tough times for America today, and we need smart leaders. These tough times were when I performed my best and enjoyed it in a certain way the most. The economy and the banks collapsing. The government was a mess, but I enjoyed waking up every single morning to go to battle, and it was battle. I enjoyed getting up, taking out the financial establishment, dealing with the financial establishment. Some were friendly, some were great, some were terrible, but I did it because I had to win. I had to win. I know how to make a deal. I know how to make a comeback. And that's what it is. Again, bigger, better, stronger company by far than ever before. That's the thinking we need for our country. That's the thinking we need when we are negotiating trade deals and military deals and economic deals on behalf of the American people. That's what we need. Put me into the boardroom as your representative, and I will deliver for you like no politician has ever delivered. Believe me. Believe me. We're going to deliver. We're going to deliver. We're going to get the best people in the world. You know, we have the greatest business people in the world. We don't use them. We use political hacks to negotiate trade deals. And frankly, it is disgusting when you look at what's happened to our country. Hillary Clinton is in it only for herself and for her donors. I'm here fighting for America. When the pressure is on, when the odds are stacked against me, when people say it can't be done, that's when we have to get started. The one thing that motivates me the most is when people tell me, and they tell the United States, that something is totally impossible. because believe me, we have a very tough situation right now. For me, impossible is just a starting point. From the depths of that terrible real estate depression, I created a company worth billions and billions of dollars and created tens of thousands of jobs. Our company and our employees remade skylines, revitalized neighborhoods, rejuvenized communities, and hired thousands and thousands of American workers. On November 8th, America's comeback begins, and we are going to rise up from our present challenge bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Those who spend their entire lives within the confines of government work and who know virtually nothing of business fail to understand the skill, dedication, and sheer grit it takes for a company to climb out of an economic depression of the scale we had in the early 90s. People like my opponent, crooked Hillary Clinton, whose only method of making money is by selling government favors and granting access to special interests, know nothing about how businesses succeed and grow. All you have to do is look at upstate New York and the terrible job she did. She said she was going to bring back jobs. She never did. It was a disaster, and it is to this day. Hillary Clinton has never created a single job in her life or added a single dollar of value to the American economy. Hillary Clinton hasn't made an honest dollar in her life. All she does is take from you, take from our country, and peddles influence to donors, special interests, and foreign actors for astronomical dollars, frankly, like probably never before. It's corruption of the highest order. Well, I made my money as a successful private business person following the law. Hillary Clinton made her money as a corrupt public official, breaking the law and putting her government offices for sale. By her own account, crooked Hillary left the White House dead broke, and now she and her husband have made more than $200 million without building a company or creating a single thing of value. I left private business for public life. Do you believe I'm in public life? Can you believe this? Am I a politician? I hope not. Because I understand our country is in bad shape and needs to be turned around fast. We owe $20 trillion in debt, doubled under Obama, and we run massive trade deficits on an annual basis, almost $800 billion in trading with the world this year. Think of it. We had a trade deficit this year, almost $800 billion. We have decaying infrastructure, failing schools, rising crime, a depleted military with the greatest people in the world there, but it's depleted in so many different ways, including its equipment, an open border, and an economy that can't create full-time, high-paying jobs. We are a divided nation, and each week it seems we're getting more and more divided, with race riots in our streets on a monthly basis. This is not the America that was handed down to us, and it's not the America we want given to our children. But this is the America we will have if we don't change our leadership immediately. We need that change. We need that vote November 8th. You got to get out there. The failed political establishment must go. It must go for the sake of your country, your future, and those you love the most, like that little guy right there. Right? Hold that baby up. It's so beautiful. So, wow. And he likes it. The people of Colorado know what it takes to rebuild this country. This is a state with a rich immigrant history and a rich Latino history. Though you hail from all regions of the world, you're united by this one thing. You are all Americans and great Americans. And as Americans, you're entitled to the same protections as every other American. Everyone lawfully living inside of our borders is entitled to the same things: safe communities, a great education, and access to high-paying, wonderful jobs. This is the change that we will deliver. Hillary Clinton has been there for 30 years and delivered nothing but failure. Look at her record. She's got experience, but it's bad experience. Her policies have brought death and destruction overseas and poverty at home. She also put Iran on the path to nuclear weapons. That was the beginning of her deal, one of the worst deals anybody has ever seen negotiated. And on the path to a massive infusion of cash and resources, including the lifting of sanctions on banks used to finance their missile program, which is hard to believe. In America, she brought enormous poverty to all communities. She brought it to the communities and the inner cities like you wouldn't believe, but especially African-American and Latino citizens. She turned a blind eye to rising crime and has no solutions for the suffering people of Chicago, Baltimore, and all over the nation. You see what's happening. Chicago, thousands and thousands of shootings since January 1st. Thousands. Instead, she attacks the police. And by the way, I've gotten the endorsement from virtually every police group. We need safety. She opposes school choice and wants to trap poor African American and Latino children in failing government schools because she wants the money from the teachers' union to keep pouring in. That's all it is. Hillary Clinton supports Obamacare and wants to expand it. Obamacare is an absolute disaster. Where premiums in Colorado are set to go up by massive numbers. And the only way to stop this disaster is to vote for Donald Trump. That I can tell you. Hillary Clinton also supports the terrible trade deals like Bill Clinton's NAFTA, one of the worst deals ever made in the history of trade, and China's entry into the World Trade Organization. And next, she wants the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the deal she calls the gold standard, which she lied about during the debate, and she said she never said that. But of course, Lester Holt never questioned her. All he does is question me. Colorado has lost more than 1 in 7 manufacturing jobs since the NAFTA and China deals. But while you've lost out, Hillary Clinton has raked in cash from her contributors. She and Bill have made $150 million in speeches, and she's not a good speaker. It's amazing. To special interests. They gave 39 speeches to big banks, including $2 million in speaking fees from Goldman Sachs. I would like to see what the speeches said. She doesn't want to release them. Release the papers, Hillary, release those papers. And never forgot Hillary's deal that allowed Russia to get 20% of America's uranium, and it cost them dearly. They got a lot of money for that one. To hide her corruption, Hillary Clinton put her emails on an illegal server, a secret server, think of it, open to foreign hacking. Then she deleted and bleached, and nobody bleaches because it's such an expensive process, you just don't do it. Most people, even sophisticated people, never even heard of it. She bleached and deleted 33,000 emails after a congressional subpoena. So think of this. She gets subpoenaed And after she gets the subpoena, she deletes all of her emails. Wow. She lied to Congress under oath, and her staffers took the Fifth. You remember that? So many people took the Fifth Amendment, there was nobody left. They all got immunity deals. They all got immunity. I mean, what did she have? 5. There was nobody else they could go after. They all had immunity. They shouldn't have wasted their time. If they're going to give them immunity, what are you wasting your time for? It's worse than Watergate. It's a bigger deal than Watergate. But unfortunately, the media doesn't want to follow it. The investigation of Hillary Clinton was rigged. It's a shame, and I must tell you, it's one of the saddest things that many of us have ever witnessed in this country. We've become a banana republic, and today we learned that the FBI made a side deal with Clinton's top aides to destroy their laptops. They said, it's okay, destroy your laptops, get rid of them. What is going on, right? What is going on? Clinton is the ringleader of a criminal enterprise that has corrupted our government at the highest levels, and the American people have one chance to stop it, and that is with their vote. People have had it with the years, the decades of Clinton corruption. Remember? Impeached for lying, can't practice law. I mean, what are we doing, folks? What are we doing? Although the good news, it seems like we're up in Colorado. That's good. And we're up in Ohio. And we're up in North Carolina. And we're up in Florida. We're up in a lot of places. And they're spending, in some cases, 50-to-1 ads. Ads. 50-to-1. So how can you be tied or up when and the ads are so false? Some of them are a little bit true, but they're so false. This will be the year the American people say enough is enough. Now, another issue that we want to address today is immigration. Colorado is home to many wonderful, hardworking immigrants. And it's these hardworking immigrants who stand to lose the most from our open borders and our open immigration policy. Illegal immigration and broken visa programs take jobs directly from Latino workers living lawfully in Colorado and many states today. It's also taking jobs from African Americans who want so much to have those jobs. Illegal immigration also brings with it massive crime and massive drugs, including a terrible heroin problem right here in Colorado. You have a tremendous problem. Everybody's telling me about it. But many of the states have that problem. We are going to build a wall. And we're going to stop the drugs, the gangs, and the violence from pouring into Colorado and from pouring into our country. We're going to shut down the sanctuary cities that have led the preventable deaths of so many. Cases like Kate Steinle, murdered in San Francisco by a 5-time deported illegal immigrant. Or cases like Sarah Root, killed by an illegal immigrant, released at the border by President Obama, and then released again after the killing. Or my friend Jamil Shaw, who lost his incredible son, talented son, beautiful son, lost to an illegal immigrant that shouldn't have been here. Or cases like Marilyn Ferris. Marilyn was a 64-year-old Air Force veteran who was sexually assaulted and beaten to death with a hammer. Her killer, an illegal immigrant, had been arrested on multiple occasions, but was never, ever deported. There are over 2 million criminal aliens in this country, and we are going to get them out of our country, and we are going to get them out quickly. To the cartels, to the gangs, to the drug dealers, I have a simple message for you. Your days are numbered, and your reign of crime will soon be coming to a very, very crashing end. With that being said, we also have to keep our country safe from terrorism. The terrorists who planted the bombs in New York and New Jersey just last week, and who carried out the mall stabbing in Minnesota, were foreign nationals admitted into our country, as was the mall shooter in Washington. Or look at cases like the Boston bombers, you remember them, here on asylum, or the San Bernardino shooter here on a fiancé visa. Sounds so nice. Sounds so nice, fiancé visa. Our people didn't know what they were doing, and frankly, they should have checked her Facebook page, and they would have never let her into this country. Killed 14 people, people that gave them a party for their baby. Killed them. Many, many wounded, will never be able to recover fully. Or the Orlando shooter, the son of a Taliban supporter from Afghanistan. Terrorists are infiltrating our country. Now, Hillary Clinton wants a 550% increase in Syrian refugees and countless more refugees from across the Middle East. I want to keep you and your family safe. And we will. And we'll build safe zones in Syria, and we'll get the Gulf states to pay for them, not us. But we have to keep our country safe, because what's happening from within, this could be the great Trojan horse of all time, folks. My job is not to represent foreign countries. My job is to represent the citizens of the United States of America. Putting your jobs, your wages, and your security first. If you're living in the United States today as a lawful resident or U.S. citizen, I will ensure you have a safe community, rising wages, and an immigration system that protects your jobs. We're not going to let our companies go to Mexico and other places, make the same product, fire all of their employees, and think they're going to sell that product across our now very strong border, and there won't be retribution. No, there will be retribution. There will be consequences. And the consequence will be that they will pay a 35% tax every time they make something and want to sell it back into the United States. And when that happens, they're not going to move. Very simple. They're going to say, wow, our formulas don't work so well anymore. But the politicians don't want that, because they're taken care of by people that own these companies, okay? Me, I don't care. I put up a fortune for my campaign, and I don't care. I don't care. Here are some more things we will do starting in 2017. We are going to lower your taxes massively. Hillary is going to increase your taxes. We're going to eliminate every unnecessary regulation. She's going to increase regulation. We're going to end Common Core and provide school choice. We will repeal and replace job-killing Obamacare. We are going to make child care affordable. We're going to save the Second Amendment, which is under siege. We're going to support the men and women of law enforcement and appoint justices of the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. We are going to rebuild America. We are going to revitalize America. We are going to unite America again. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people, under one God, saluting one American flag. Can you imagine? Together, we will make America wealthy again. We have to do that. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you, everybody.